I showed you how to take these books apart to use as Filofax inserts. I'm going to show you now how to take them apart to turn them into Midori notebooks. This is a bound notebook that has individual signatures and they're sewn together. You can see the stitching there, but they're also glued in. So all I did was break the spine of the book. And I've just done it here, but I'm going to do it the rest of the way down. Just slice through the stitching and the glue until you can pull your signature free. It might be easier to do it that way actually, I can see what I'm doing. So you're not even cutting the paper, you're just slicing the signature threads. Okay, so what you're left with, and of course you can do this with plain paper if you have plain paper that you like. This is just, since we started with how to take apart a notebook, I thought I'd continue with how to take apart a notebook, but obviously A4 paper, fold it in half, voila. Which is handy if you want like watercolour paper in your Midori or something, because you can make your own little inserts. And then I'm going to grab another one, because this is only a couple of sheets and that's a bit thin, so I'm going to lift it up so that I get the next booklet. You can see it's a complete booklet there. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Break the spine of the book to loosen it. Oh, and this one's coming apart all on its own. I don't suggest you pull it because the paper will rip along the binding. But once you've done one or two, actually the binding will start coming undone anyway. So there's another. These are only like 3 sheets in a signature. Usually you want at least 6, 4 or 6. So what I'm going to do is put one inside the other, and now I've got a slightly thicker signature. Now you will have a little bit of overlap at the end, but that's okay, we can fix that in a minute. So you can stop there if you want to. I'm going to add some more signatures. I think that could be at least double the size, so I'm going to add 2 more signatures. Again, pull it, break the spine, and then get your knife in there, and you'll start encountering glue at this point as well, but you know, just take it nice and slowly. Try and pull it fairly evenly as well. There we go, there's another one. Get rid of the rubbish. You will get some rubbish because on the back, because obviously it's already been bound, so the glue's going to pull it apart a little bit, but all this is going to be on the binding anyway, it's not going to matter. So there's another one. Make sure there's nothing in the middle. Put it in there like that. Are we starting to... Oh yes, we're starting to get to a good size now. That's a much better size. I'm going to add one more. I think that'll be my lot. So that's... how many will that be? 4 signatures of 3, so that's 12 pages. It's quite thin paper though, so... Okay, just lift it up like that. As soon as you can see the stitches, just chop the stitches off. Now this is still stuck to the glue, this one, so I may have to cut the glue as well. But I'm going to cut the stitches first, because sometimes that happens and you get lucky. So there we go. I'm going to say that's enough for that for the moment. So that's 4 signatures inside each other. And now what you want to do is you want to get your signatures flush, and the best way to do that is use a flat surface and tap them into each other, and then slightly bend it like that to tap them down into the middle, so you get them as tight together as you can. And then what you need is a bulldog clip just to hold it all securely. Okay. Alright. I had to take a stop there because my neighbours, for some reason, as soon as the sun comes out, everybody gets really noisy. In order to make it a little bit more like a Midori notebook, I've just got some paper here. Oh, there's a nice pretty purple, that'll do nicely. Oh, and it's card. Oh, it's not a full piece, hang on. Let's try that again. I want a full piece of paper. That'll do. So this is just coloured paper. You can use card, you can use pretty much anything. Paper will save space. And really you don't need card for a Midori. You could use craft paper or something, or brown packing paper, if you've got brown packing paper. And I'm going to fold that, but I'm not going to crease it too heavily. I don't want it to go really pointed. And I'm going to slide that onto there. Make sure it's lined up. And for now I'm just going to clip from the centre to the outside of the book. So get it all nice and straight, clip that together, because you want to be able to access the inside fold. And I just found another of these clips, so I think what I'll do is just pop that on the other end. This paper is a tiny bit bigger than my notebook, doesn't matter, we can trim it up later. Okay, so now you've got basically a little notebook. You need a needle and thread. I like to use either unbreakable thread, or you can use ordinary sewing cotton doubled up and then doubled again, so you've got 4 strands. Or, much more sensible, is just using embroidery floss, cotton embroidery floss, and a large-eyed needle. So this is 6-strand cotton embroidery floss. And you only need well, not even the length of the notebook actually, but I'm just going to cut that off. So I've got that much. The next thing you need is a pokey tool. Now that is an official name, it is actually called a pokey tool. You can also use an awl, or you know, anything that's got a big sharp pointed end. A skewer will do. If you want to be fussy about it, you can measure it, but what I'm doing actually, if you look in the inside of your notebook, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes where it was already pre-punched. So instead of trying to punch more holes, I'm just going to go down through the hole that's already there. Make sure you go straight down, and then straight down through this one that's already there as well. And it's nice and easy. It doesn't matter that it's not, you know, lined up, or one is too close and one is too far away. Oh, actually, that might annoy me. Let's move that one out one. There we go. That's better. And all you're going to do, oh, it's so simple, really. Pamphlet stitch is quite tricky, but this is not tricky. And remember, a Midori notebook has the elastics going down the middle, so this isn't even going to be a problem. This is going to go straight down through the hole there, hopefully, if it didn't move. Straight back up through the hole at the back. I've done that the wrong way around, sorry. Okay, I'm going to come up through one hole and I'm going to pull that one through, because it needs to come up through one hole and back down through the other. It's too hot. It's like 32 degrees today. So you'll end up with that and 2 strings on the back. And all you've got to do at that point is pull your strings, twist them. I do left over right, twist them down, hold them, and then do right over left. That gives you a square knot. Right over left, left over right, doesn't really matter as long as you go one way then the other. And then before the knot gets tight, just grab your pokey tool and hold it down, and then you should be able to, with your other hand, just grab the knot and pull it tight to the book. So it's not too tight, there'll still be a little bit of gap, but it'll be reasonably tight. Okay, you can chop this off or keep it together, whatever you want to do. You could use this to tie 3 notebooks together and then put it in your Midori if you want to. However you want to do it. Normally I put 2 books, one that way and then one that way, tie these 2 together, and then you can slide that under the elastic and put your middle one inside, and you know, saves you an elastic band. The other alternative, you can slide this knot up to the top and this knot down to the bottom and then tie it twice. So tie it once across there and once across there. It's really easy to do. It's really not rocket science. If you've got even basic skills of putting together books, you can manage this. And it doesn't even have to be particularly neat, because no matter what you do with it, it's going to work. You can't really go wrong, because all it is a bunch of paper that's folded together. Now we have the issue of the paper that doesn't fit. Oh, that's nice and easy. What we're going to do, you'll see, because the paper is inside each other, let me come in. Because the paper is inside each other, the middle parts stick out more than the outer parts. So all we've got to do is find where that part here matches the cover. So there it is there. I'm just going to mark that with the poker tool, because I don't know where my pencil is. And keeping it all nice and hard together again. What I'm going to do now, stand with your ruler, find the same part on the other end, which is there. Hold it firmly and slice off the edges that don't fit. Now this will be on the outside edge of your notebook, so you want to be a little bit more careful than you were cutting out your Filofax pages. And there you have a nice, neat, straight-edged notebook that you can put into your Midori. Oh, we've still got a little bit of paper down here. That's okay. I'll just open it up, get it straight, put your ruler down on the edge of the paper, and I always find it's easiest to push your finger so that you can feel when it's flush. There you go. And then chop off the excess. Voila! One nice notebook. Now you could use that as an A5 notebook all on its own, or if you cut it down again so that it is 110mm across, which is there, what you could do is turn it into a Midori size notebook. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this yet, whether I'm going to go make an A5 Midori style, or whether I'm actually going to make the full proper size Midori 21 by 10, by 11. No, actually, you know what, I am. I'll just mark that bit of paper there. Get off, cat, please. Mark that bit of paper there, that's 11. Just make sure that is correct, make sure it's straight. Yep. Craft knife. Whoops. Yeah, the mat slips occasionally. That was because I was watching the cat instead of what I was doing. Never a good idea. I've got a bit of a bow in that one, don't know how that's happened. If that happens, just angle the knife very slightly in towards the ruler. And it should slice off like that. doesn't want to come off. Oh, I think there's a bit caught in the paper. There's an impurity in the paper that's catching on the knife. There we go. It's easily fixed. There we go. It looks like I'm taking loads off, but I'm not. I'm taking the same amount off every page as I go down. It just happens that some of it has come apart. So there you go, you can trim that up with scissors, obviously, if there's a little bit that's determined not to come off straight. See, it's a little impurity in the paper that's causing it to snag up. If you don't like the feel of freshly cut paper, get a little emery board. Oops, which I've just dropped down the back of my table. Okay, get a big emery board and just take off the rough edges, or the sharp edges of the paper with an emery board. Don't rub too hard, you just want to take off the sharpness so that you don't cut yourself. That's still not straight, is it? Let's try it from this side, see if it cuts better this way. Yeah, there's still a bump there. There we go. Gotcha. Okay, one Midori Traveller's Notebook ready to go. Pop it inside your holder and you can make this out of any paper you want. I've made it out of some nice notebook paper that I like. You could make yours out of watercolour paper, anything really, lined paper. If you take A4 paper or letter paper and cut it so that your book sits that way, so chop off the top part of the A4 and then chop off whatever edges you want and fold it in half, you can then make a lined paper where the lines are going the right way around. Very clever! Have fun.